So recording is starting now. So you can start your presentation.
Very well, sir.
Yep.
Very well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
May I start?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So thank you, Sir Roy, and thank you for my friends that have been here, and thank you for the supervisor that has given me their time. So my name is Suryandika. My student number is F10212110 and 66. Today I will be speaking about my research proposal. The title of the research proposal is The Impact of Story-Based Video Games on English Reading Skill for an 11th Grader in Pontianak. Now, without further ado, let's moving on to the background. Okay, so in today's classroom, technology plays a massive role in how students learn globally and around the world. Quoted by Bertoni at 2021, using technology in EFL in Saudi Arabia, Literacy Information and Computer Education Journal, one interesting tool is story-based video games, which could make learning English more fun. Now, in the topic of video games, there's also action video games. In action video games, improve reading abilities and visual to auditory international shifting in English-speaking children with dyslexia. But do these games really help 11th graders in Pontianak improve their English reading skills? That's what this research is willing to find out. English reading skills are super important for students of all ages, especially in 11th grade. But sometimes learning English can be a little bit boring. Story-based video games might change that, as even scholars have encouraged the use of digital video games, or DVGs, as educational instruments, quoted by Ibrahim Zadeh and Alafi 2016. Now the research questions. So originally there is more than one research questions, but the other research question doesn't really make sense with the doesn't really align with the titles. So I picked with one that is actually aligned with the research title. So does playing story-based video games like Undertale improve the reading skills of 11th grader students in Indonesia? And then moving on to research purposes. The research purposes is to aim to investigate whether the act of playing story-based video games, such as Undertale, has a positive effect on English reading skill of 11th grade students. So the research purpose is to find out whether or not there is anything to gain from integrating Undertale video games in a research in a English learning process. If there's any positive effect, that will be noted. But if there's even a drawbacks, it is also will all be noted. Now, on literature review. So poor language proficiency was a problem for many, to the extent that they fell below the linguistic threshold level that is cited by Halech. Based on Ivanti, reading as one of the indicators of being illiterate is an art of interpreting a written discourse. Meanwhile, a habit is repeated action, which people do often regularly, sometimes without knowing that they are doing it. Without doing it. It is concluded that the rate of Indonesian students learning skill ability does not indicate that they have a good English reading habits. It is also concluded that only a small amount of them have good English reading habits. It is proven by their unwillingness to spend time reading various types of English texts. So here comes the research method. So in order to reach the valid and usable research conclusion, there comes a great need of compatible methodology for research questions. This study will employ a quasi-experimental design to investigate the impact of story-based video games on English reading skill among 11th grade students in Pontianak, Indonesia. Especially, a pre-test and post-test design will be utilized, with an experimental group exposed to the story-based video game of Undertale, and a control group not exposed to the game of Undertale. So there will be a pre-test and post-test. Uh, Before that pre-test and post-test, there will be also be a reading assignment that they will need to do. So the population and sample. The participant in this research will be purposefully selected from the pool of students engaged in English teaching and learning classrooms. The target population for the study includes 11th grade students attending schools in Pontianak, Indonesia. A sample size of preferably 20 to 50 students will be randomly selected from participating students that is engaged in English teaching and learning classroom and attending schools in Pontianak, Indonesia in 11th grades. So the technique of data collections. So a standardized English reading assessment will be administered to both the experimental group and control groups before and after the intervention period. So before the researcher's intervention period, there will be a English reading assessment that will be given to them, both the control and experimental group. And after the intervention period, there will also be English reading assessment to calculate whether or not there is an improvement in their reading abilities. This assessment will include a range of reading comprehension tasks and text analysis questions designed to measure various aspects of reading proficiency. Now, the data analysis. After we collect the data, both the pretest and post-test, and both from the control and experimental group, there will be a descriptive statistics where we will count the mean, mode, median, the standard deviation, and range. And then after we get all the total data, we will then pretest and post-test comparison, whether or not the pretest and post-test have difference, or whether or not there will be improvement or deprovement. So in pretest and post-test comparison, there will be two times, because pretest and post-test comparison for the control group, and then there will be pretest and post-test comparison for the experimental group. And then after that, after we get the comparison and the total data, we will be between group comparison. So we will be comparing the two group and the data, whether or not the experimental group has any improvement compared to the control group. And then that is all my presentation, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear my voice now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Thank you for your presentation. And first of all, before I come to the ideas, I would like to have some comment of your presentation. The first one is your PowerPoint. Your PowerPoint, yeah, we call PowerPoint because it should be only the points, yeah, meaning that your slide should contain only pointers or important information. I mean, like dots, or numbers, dotted or numbers, ideas. Yeah. Do not put like sentences or paragraphs in your slides. Yeah. Okay, can you stop your presentation? So I want to say,
Okay, sir.
yeah. Okay, for example, like this. Wait a minute. Share. I want to share entire screen. Okay, now this, for example, you know, uh, this this is sentences or even paragraph. Yeah. This is not good for slide. You should background, for example, what you want to highlight. If you want to highlight, for example, technology plays massive role in student something. Technology of is or plays, you can, I mean, you can only put the words like technology plays a massive role, something like that. Yeah. What else? How you, for example, um, link it with reading skills. So reading skills are important. Or, sorry, what is it?
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, something like that. Like slide, the next slide like this is good. Yeah. Um, you only put the important things. Yeah. This is also not good. Yeah, you have to only put the sketches, your pointers, and also like this. Yeah, you, if you are using quasi experimental design, you should only research methods, and here quasi experimental, and then you put some little definitions of it. also these and so on like that. Yeah. So that's perhaps number one that I want to comment on your uh, uh, presentation today. Now, the next one is, um, I try to understand your ideas. I have read your proposal, but I think I fail to understand because inconsistencies between many things. Yeah. Now, after listening to your uh, presentation, I got a bit clear idea, but it really needs to confirm, yeah, what you really want to do. From your presentation, I got the idea that you want to do um, was that quasi or quasi research. Yeah, is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir. That is the original plan.
Okay, now do you know what quasi research is and how do you know how to do it?
Uh, at least the gist of it, sir.
Sorry?
I understand at least the gist of it.
Yeah, can you tell very short if you are doing a quasi, then what are you going to do?
Sorry, sir.
If you are doing quasi or quasi, what are you going to do?
Okay. So I think how to say? Oh, I guess I, how do I say? So I would kind of use a t-test, sir. I think t-test is a part of quasi experimental.
Yeah, you are doing first, number one. The first one, you are
So,
going to
so the
do.
first one I would do a pre-test. I would give a consent form, of course, that is given to them, and then after they agree to the consent form, and then I would do a little bit of pre-test
Hmm?
and maybe give them as a English standardized reading test, and
Reading
then
test.
yes,
Yeah, and then
and then after that will be the research intervention.
so what is it?
Sorry, research intervention
Yeah,
with the
what
video game.
intervention? What do you mean? What intervention there?
So I would be start integrating the video game of Undertale.
So you are going to teach using video game,
Yes,
and then
and then after that I would conduct a post test research, and then also standardized English test again.
okay, now yes, that's basically like this. Yeah, the process of your research, but your proposal is not telling that. Yeah, so there is a big gap between your proposal and your presentation. So, but it is very urgent that you have to fix your proposal according to the original idea that you are going to use or to do experimental study. So basically, once again, experimental study is, in your case, is the research, yeah, using. I mean, the research that you are going to do is teaching. Yeah, you are teaching. So you are teaching reading using video game, and before the teaching you are giving the standardized tests and then teaching and then post test. So you give similar tests. Yeah, you can use exactly the same test or different tests, but very similar or rejumble. You jumble up and down the questions. For example, question number one in pre-test become question number five in post-test, something like that. uh, uh, and because you are doing quasi, so meaning that you have to have two groups, yeah, group, experimental group, the group that you give the treatment or the intervention, and the group without any treatment or intervention. So you can have, I mean, you have to have two groups, yeah, for your design. So that's basically you really, I mean, you are going to do later if you continue this project. Yeah. Now there are so many things that you need to fix. Yeah. Now we start from. I want to start from the very beginning. Yeah. Uh, okay, I share my screen to show your proposal. Okay, yeah. So the impact of story-based video games on English reading skill for 11 graders. Okay. Okay, the title is fine like that. Yeah. And then your introduction is okay, but I want to, I mean, give some feedback. Yeah, you can start from yeah, like this. Yeah, but you have to, in your introduction, you have to really explain, yeah, how video games can help learning in terms of the argument. Yeah, it is not the explanation like the theory. No, so the introduction is really like to explain the logic based on your own opinion or experiences. Yeah, it is important in this section because uh, between video game and reading is not closely linked. Yeah, because usually when people I mean, when teacher want to teach reading, they are not going to use video, yeah, because video is not for teaching. I mean, it's not for reading actually. So it is more on for speaking and listening. Because when watching the video, you can you can watch, you can try to grab to try to understand the conversation and so on like that through your listening, and also perhaps you can read the subtitle. Yeah. Now, perhaps with subtitles, so reading is happening, is something like that. So that's why you need to really explain that why you think that's why you believe that video game could, yeah, I mean, is possible to improve the the reading skills, something like that. So this is in introduction, in your background. This is the way you put your. I mean, you try to argue that your topic is something valuable, yeah, so to do, yeah, something like that. That's I think important that you have to write. The rest is okay. You just to try to put together ya your idea there ya. Maksud saya di introduction tuh ininya sudah oke, tapi tinggal kamu manage lagi, kamu restructure lagi idenya supaya ide saran saya tadi itu bisa masuk. Oke. Now, research questions. So if you are consistent with your plan, yeah, quasi experimental. So the research question is not like this. Yeah. The research question should follow or should follow the traditions of experimental study. Yeah, like the question like is it effective and how effective it is. So I think that's you can start from two questions. Yeah, you can start from two questions. Okay. Later, perhaps in the middle of your real research, you could develop the other question. Yeah, perhaps after communication with your supervisors, ideas. But for proposal, I think that two research questions should be implemented. Yeah, the research question, like as I said, is it effective? So, meaning that is video-based game effective to improve or to teach reading skills, something like that. If it is effective, then how effective it is. So that's two research question. The typical research question in experimental study. And then I skip this one, yeah. I mean, I don't want to comment on this. Just go ahead. Yeah. Later, perhaps it will be fixed. Yeah. And terminology, you can start with this. Okay. Gamification, yes. Pre-test and post-test, I don't think it is needed here. This one, this explanation, yeah, about pre-test, post-test, quantitative is in chapter 3 methodology. Do not explain here. Uh, Here, I think, okay, yeah, I'm not sure with this, but you can include it or other specific terminologies that appears in your proposal, I think is also okay. And then literature review. Now, I think eh, I'm a, I mean, I could suggest that your literature review have at least two big themes. Yeah, the first one is teaching reading. So I recommend you to start from reading comprehension or reading skill. I mean, if you are focusing on reading skills, so then you start from teaching reading, the basic definition of teaching reading, and what reading skill you mean in your research. Yeah. Um, I think you have to spend or to explain in great detail in your literature review. And this is the first topic about teaching reading and reading skill. And the second topic is about not technology. This is too big, but I suggest that you directly talks about video games. Yeah, not the impacts on video games on TEFL, but you start from a video game for language learning, something like, or language education. So once again, the second part of your literature review, you should talks about video game in language education, or if you want to direct talk about TEFL is also good. So video game on TEFL, yeah, something like this, yeah, but not the impact. Yeah, the impact is kind of reporting the results of research. Yeah. Now you talk about video game on TEPA. You can talk about why video games is important or what values like advantages. Not really advantage. I don't like people talk about advantages, disadvantages. Yeah, it's better you talk about the values of games, video games. I mean, in language education. So I think many articles or books talking about the values of game, because game is not something new in language education. You can have, for example, the books like games in general, yeah, games in language education, the values of game, things like that. So now, inside these second topics, yeah, like video games on TEFA, you can talks about, you can reports on um, other researchers that have done uh, about video games and TEFL, something like that, to locate or to know how our own topic is not similar. I mean, is different. Yeah, is different from them. Is something like that. Now, I don't know about this. Yeah, for a conceptual framework. Yeah, but this is not something like concept. I mean, it does not look like a conceptual framework. If you really want to uh, uh, make the conceptual framework, you have to create, the value of video games. Yeah. So this is the connection between video games and reading, yes, skill. So that's become the conceptual framework. But in the this is in your figure here, it is not like conceptual framework. It is more on the research design. Yeah, but also it's not really research design. But if you are talking about experimental and control group, yeah, and then um, uh, was there the expected improvement and so on like that. So this really like you are explaining the research design. So this is not like this. Yeah. Okay, now chapter 3, methodology, research process, and theoretical framework. Now, once again, you mix so many things here. What you need to do is only talking about research methodology, not research process, not theoretical framework. So, chapter 3, methodology. You can say only methodology or research methodology or research method. Ya, jadi cukup research method. Jadi kalau metodologi itu lebih big topics ya. Sebenarnya kalau Anda punya topik chapter misalkan metodologi, berarti Anda benar-benar harus menjelaskan apa filsafat ilmu ya atau paradigma riset seperti positivis, post-positivis, and so on like that ya. Tapi kalau cuma riset method, berarti Anda hanya menjelaskan metodologi riset Anda itu apa. Riset Anda itu riset desainnya apa, gitulah ya. Jadi seperti kalau kita bicara riset desain berarti kita bicara riset proses. Ya, proses riset Anda seperti apa. Jadi cukup dengan mengatakan riset method, it's already means you explain the process of research in your design. Okay, once again, chapter 3 cukup mengatakan research methods. Now, in this chapter, you talk about research design. So, research design, okay. Nggak usah lagi diterjemahkan apa itu research design dan sebagainya. Langsung saja research design Anda apa? Ya, ini kan bertele-tele ini kan. Jadi Anda tidak perlu menjelaskan apa itu riset desain. Yang perlu Anda jelaskan adalah riset desain Anda apa. Kalau riset desain Anda itu adalah kuasi, maka di sini Anda harus menjelaskan kuasi ya. Ini tiba-tiba ada Adi. Adi itu apa hubungannya dengan kuasi? Apa hubungannya dengan eksperimental? So ADDIE milik Branch ya. Itu ini Adi ini bukan milik Creswell. Branch tahun 2009. Adi itu adalah development research ya, beda banget. It's very different from experimental research ya. Kalau Adi itu berarti Anda membuat sesuatu. Kalau Anda mau bikin video game tadi ya boleh Adi. Tapi kalau Anda hanya menggunakan video game yang sudah ada dalam riset Anda dalam sebuah eksperimental, maka that is not Adi ya. You just you have to talk this one ya. Experimental. So experimental research design, and you particularly focus on mana dia di sini belum ada kuasi ya, kuasi. Nah sekarang terserah kamu mau kuasi ke mau pre-eksperimental ke, itu terserah Anda. Kalau kuasi itu berarti harus 2 grup, rumusnya agak berbeda. Kalau eksperimental berarti pre-eksperimental berarti Anda perlu hanya 1 grup, yaitu experimental group. Tapi kalau lihat yang ini tadi sepertinya Anda pakai kuasi, tapi di sini Anda tidak menjelaskannya. Oke, nah kalau itu riset design ya, saya harap Anda bisa menjelaskannya dengan lengkap di sini. Termasuklah pretest, post-test, prosesnya itu kan pretest, treatment, post-test. Treatmentnya itu yang perlu dijelaskan lebih lengkap. So you need to elaborate, in detail how you are going to teach using video games as the experimental treatment in your research. Nah, selanjutnya partisipan. Saya sudah berkali-kali bilang bahwa kalau di eksperimental atau di quantitative research itu bahasanya bukan partisipan. Ya, kalau partisipan itu lebih kepada deskriptif, kan partisipan atau respondents itu deskriptif. Ya, kalau mau kualitatif boleh juga partisipan. Tapi kalau eksperimental itu harus menggunakan istilah population and sample. So you need to decide the population and you need to decide samples. Yeah. So in your sample, you need to explain how you do sampling. Bagaimana kita menentukan mahasiswa atau siswa yang akan terlibat di dalam penelitian kita. Nah, berapa orang, berapa kelas dan sebagainya itu memilihnya itulah disebut dengan sampling method. Nah, jadi itu harus dijelaskan di sini. Minimal Anda akan mengatakan seperti ini misalkan, bahwa penelitian ini akan dilaksanakan di SMP 20 misalkan, SMP 20 Singkawang misalkan seperti itu. Jadi di situ ada katakanlah 5 kelas. Nah, 5 kelas itulah menjadi populasinya, population. Nah, dari 5 kelas itu bagaimana kamu memilihnya? Apakah memilih masing-masing kelas diambil beberapa orang ataukah kamu memilih kelasnya itu secara random dan sebagainya? Itulah yang disebut dengan sampling. Jadi how you choose the class to become part of your project is called sampling. Nah itu jadi partisipan sekali lagi diganti dengan population and sample. Oke, nah setelah itu ini instrumen. Ini biasanya bukan instrumen, kita nyebutnya memang akhirnya memang instrumen, tetapi kita sebut dengan data collection. Nah, karena di data collection sini kita menjelaskan tentang how we gather data, how we collect data, ya, bagaimana kita. Nah, kemudian yang keduanya ya baru instrumen. Nah, instrumennya apa saja? Kalau kita ingin penelitian itu mengambil datanya itu dengan tes, berarti kamu harus jelaskan tesnya itu nanti misalnya pengambilan data itu dengan menggunakan tesnya dilaksanakan begini kan gitu. Kemudian kalau dia pretest proses kamu juga harus jelaskan akan ada 2 kali tes pertama disebut pretest yang diselenggarakan ini, kemudian post testnya akan diselenggarakan begitu ya. So in this section data collection, you are explaining how, ya, kata how berarti proses. You collect the data. Nah, the more important to talk is about instrument. Nah, di sini belum ada sama sekali. Instrumennya apa? Tes, dibilang tadi standardized test. Oke. Pertama, apa yang Anda maksud dengan standardized? Kemudian bagaimana Anda menentukan alat ataupun tes tersebut? Nah, di sini kan tidak dijelaskan sama sekali. So, in your proposal, it is a must or compulsory. You talk about your instrument here. Jadi harus dijelaskan sekali lagi tes yang akan kamu ambil. Kalau standardized berarti Anda adalah copy paste dengan dari buku-buku yang memiliki tes yang memang standardized. Tidak mungkin kamu sendiri yang membuatnya kalau standardized test. Karena standardized test biasanya sudah copyrighted ataupun telah melalui proses yang cukup panjang sehingga dia disebut dengan standardized atau standar test. Tes yang standar ya. Nah, misalkan TOEFL itu adalah standardized test ya. Tapi banyak buku-buku TOEFL yang memiliki tes sendiri itu bukan standardized, itu namanya TOEFL-like ya. Tuh yang seperti TOEFL gitu aja, bukan TOEFL-nya. Tapi kalau TOEFL-nya itu standardized. Nah, oleh karena itu kan harganya mahal sekali. Yang paling murah itu paper base itu minimal Anda harus bayar 500-an kan ribu ya 550.000 biasanya. Nah, nah itu yang harus dijelaskan di sini. Anda tidak perlu bicara tentang ANOVA di sini ya. Kalau ANOVA dia larinya adalah di data analysis. Dan kalau ANOVA itu sudah kelas tinggi ya, untuk S1 itu sepertinya tidak terlalu disarankan. Kecuali kalau memang Anda menguasainya tidak. Jadi tidak disarankan tapi tidak dilarang. Jadi kalau Anda tahu, bagus gitu ya. Kalau tidak tahu pun tidak harus belajar dulu tentang ini. Tapi kalau melihat pertanyaan riset kamu, ya kamu tidak memerlukan ANOVA sama sekali. Kalau ANOVA itu kan pertanyaannya sudah berbelit-belit gitu ya. Misalkan apa hubungan antara misalkan kan gitu. Antara katakanlah siswa yang memiliki latar belakang ini apakah dia skornya tinggi, skornya rendah. Apakah misalkan ada perbedaan antara lelaki dengan perempuan dengan menggunakan game tadi itu hasilnya apakah berbeda antara laki dan perempuan. Nah, kita lihat berarti kan ada faktor-faktor tertentu yang kita jadikan unsur kalkulasi. Jadi kita pisahkan datanya. Banyak kerjaan kalau menggunakan ANOVA ya. Kalau kita boleh katakan hanya deskriptif ya, deskriptif analisis. Kita hanya menggunakan t-test biasanya ya untuk menghitung antara pretest and post-test. Jadi hasil pretest post-test itu kita hitung dengan t-test gitu. Tentunya sebelumnya kita hitung dengan deskriptif biasa saja dengan Excel. Ada individual score-nya itu setiap siswa kita hitung, kemudian nilai tertinggi berapa, terendah berapa, mean score-nya berapa, standard deviation-nya berapa, dan selanjutnya seperti itu saja. Nah, itu disebut dengan descriptive analysis, ditambah t-test ya. Tapi kalau hanya t-test kan ya boleh dikatakan itu statistik, tetapi belum terlalu jelimet arti ya. Nah, but all of these, what I'm saying is actually in this section data analysis. Jadi data analisisnya harusnya Anda berbicara tentang tadi itu t-test, tentang bagaimana Anda menghitung hasil reading dan lain sebagainya. Seperti itu. Nah, report ini tidak perlu ya, report finding tidak perlu dibahas, appendix tidak perlu dibahas ya. Yang perlu itu ininya ada gitu aja. Jadi nanti appendixnya ya di sini. Jadi daftar appendix nanti di bawah sini harus ada appendix 1 harusnya pretest, appendix 2 itu post-test atau ada materi lain akan Anda gunakan dalam riset Anda, maka masukkan aja di bagian terakhir dari your research.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
I think I've realized that this document that you're opening is the old version of my document.
Sorry?
So I think I've realized that this document that you're opening is the old version of my document. I have already fixed the appendix to have the pre-test, post-test, and consent form.
Okay, I download it from the link, yeah,
Okay,
from
maybe I
here.
can send it to you
Di sini
in
nih.
somewhere.
Jadi saya download di sini. Saya tidak tahu kalau kamu punya versi yang. Oke, kalau sudah punya berarti ya bagus lah. Berarti Anda sudah punya. Intinya adalah bukan di sini menjelaskannya. Kemudian daftar pusaka atau referensis ya harus konsekuen, harus konsisten ya. Harus menggunakan APA 7 edition ya. Tolong dipelajari nanti, tapi yang jelas bukan seperti ini kan ini benar-benar sembarangan benar nih. Ya, yang betul ini mana nih? Nah, ini betul ya. Tapi bentuknya pun harusnya begini kan? Kan harusnya begitu. Ini kan tidak konsisten, ada tiba-tiba ada capitals ya, padahal kan tidak, harusnya kan cuman biasa ya, seperti ini misalkan seperti itu harusnya. Huruf pertama saja yang capital ya, begini dia. Ini adalah normal, di sini italic, di sini ada ini dan ada doi-nya. Nah, seperti ini. Ada beberapa yang sudah benar, tapi masih banyak yang belum benar. Jadi you have to do it consistently. Okay, now that's all that I can share with you. You know the feedback that you could revise your proposal accordingly, according to the discussion today. All right. So, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. About my standardized test in the instrument. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've told me that to find a standardized test, it is also a copyrighted, let alone also expensive, and it is not easy to come by. So before you've said that, I only thought that standardized test is a test that usually in the 11th grader learning book that's usually administered by the schools.
No,
So,
there's no standard test. Yeah, usually standardized test is secured test. Yeah, not for public. Yeah, that's only be used for very strict purpose. Yeah, like TOEFL, for example, you cannot have access to TOEFL easily. Ya, kalaupun ada soal TOEFL itu berarti yang sudah di crack sama orang. Ya, artinya ada soal tes yang sebenarnya rahasia tapi dicuri orang gitulah kira-kira bahasa sederhananya, dicuri orang kemudian didistribusikan. Nah, itu ya materinya, kalau materinya benar-benar itu adalah materi TOEFL seperti ITP TOEFL atau IBT ya kan, atau yang lainnya yang memang secured, nah itu namanya standardized test. Tapi kalau sudah ada, kalau tes itu ada di buku, misalkan buku SMP, misalkan seperti itu bukan standardized test. Ya. Atau bahkan misalkan ada tes bahasa Inggris yang di ujian nasional misalkan gitu, itu pun masih diragukan bahwa itu adalah standardized test. Setahu saya tes di Indonesia itu yang untuk ujian nasional dan lain sebagainya itu bukan standardized test karena belum benar-benar dibuat dengan cara yang strict gitu ya. Ya buktinya siswa kita antara yang sebenarnya punya bahasa Inggris dengan bahasa Inggrisnya yang sangat little ya, itu skornya sama-sama bagus gitu. Padahal kan kalau standardized test itu sudah hampir bisa mendeteksi si A memang levelnya sekian, si B sekian dan seterusnya seperti itu. Ya, intinya begini, you don't have to use standardized test, tapi you can use the test, for example, from siapa gitu. Jadi artinya tes yang bukan kamu sendiri yang buat gitu. Kalau kamu sendiri yang buat itu harus melalui proses uji coba yang disebut dengan validity and reliability test. Ya. So your test should be treated that you construct the test and you have to trial the test, to have the test, ya, uji coba. Tes itu dihitung, kemudian diperbaiki dan sebagainya, barulah dia menjadi alat penelitian yang diakui. Nah, seperti itu. Kalau memang disarankan seperti itu supaya kamu bisa membuat test readingnya itu close to the real situation. Ya. Kalau kita ngambil misalkan dari buku itu kan belum tentu konteksnya sama dengan yang ingin kamu sama dengan konteks di mana kamu melaksanakan teaching tersebut atau eksperimental itu. Nah, ya anyway ya cara apapun harus yang standar gitu kira-kira. Standar dalam tanda petik bukan standardized test ya, tapi tes yang benar-benar sudah diverifikasi dengan uji coba. Oke, saya kira itu. Ada lagi?
No, sir. Thank you. But maybe a little bit, just a little bit. If I were to use another person's test that they made, and it's already standardized, and I mean not like standardized tests like TOEFL and etc., but like at the very least something that's already verified. Where could I find it, sir?
I don't know. I mean, it's really depend on. It should be like this, you know. The test that you are going to use is not too much different from the material that you are teaching. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the level, perhaps the topics and so on like that. So you can have you can create yourself, yeah, but you have to do some trials, ya, uji coba. Kalau benar-benar ingin ngambil tes misalkan, kamu cari mungkin tes yang sudah digunakan dalam sebuah penelitian seperti itu, yang levelnya kurang lebih sama. Jadi misalkan tes yang digunakan oleh seseorang dalam penelitian di mana gitu ya, untuk secondary education misalnya seperti itu. Nah, tapi hal itu biasanya tidak gampang dicari ya, karena orang biasanya tidak publish ya soal tes mereka. Tapi boleh dicoba gitu, boleh dicari tes tersebut ya. Kalau kamu ini kan untuk SMP atau SMA?
SMA, sir.
SMA berarti kan cari yang levelnya SMA untuk kelas 11 misalkan seperti itu, ya harus dicari yang sudah jadi kalau bisa seperti itu ya. Kalau tidak ya mau tidak mau kamu harus bikin sendiri dengan kisi-kisi yang kamu develop according to the specification of your research. Gitu. Oke, ya.
Yes, sir.
Saya kira cukup ya sampai di sini. There's lots already. You have to really revise your proposal because, as I said, your proposal is very far away from what we are talking now. So that's why you really need to revise totally your proposal. Now, the final revision of the proposal is very important for the score of your mata kuliah SRD, because majority of the score is based on the quality of the proposal. So even though, for example, you have the excellent presentation performance today, but if your proposal is broken, like what I have now, so so it's really you need to improve the quality of the proposal based on the feedback today. Okay, I stop the recording.